It's Thursday, August 23rd, 2018, and you can see I am wearing the glasses of pretend knowledge. So I'm going to try to imitate somebody who knows what they're talking about. I'm going to try to imitate a person who seems like they know what they're talking about. So, who wants Paxton Lynch? Do I have any takers? Anybody? Anybody? Who wants Paxton Lynch? I know the Broncos don't want Paxton Lynch. I don't want Paxton Lynch on the Broncos anymore. Who wants Paxton Lynch? Now, first off, I know the Broncos are trying to trade him. You should see if you can get something for your first round bust. Paxton Lynch wasn't my favorite guy that we took in that draft. I really wasn't thrilled with the pick. But, I gave benefit of the doubt to the powers that be at the Broncos that he would work out. There were a lot of people that said that Paxton Lynch is a project. Paxton Lynch has been here for 3 years and he still looks like they haven't started the project. It's like Paxton Lynch still looks just as bad as he did when he was a rookie. And he's been here for he's been here for 3 preseasons. I don't think he's going to be here for 3 full seasons now. This would be his 3rd. But the Broncos are trying to trade him. He's already fallen behind Chad Kelly in the depth chart because Chad Kelly just looks like he gets it. Chad Kelly is the same age as Paxton Lynch. They're both 24. Chad Kelly came to us in the 7th round of the 2017 draft. Paxton Lynch was a first-round pick in the 2016 draft. Chad Kelly was injured all last year. He was basically just on practice squads, unable to perform lists, whatever the case may be, but they kept him basically out of sight, and I'm guessing he was just learning playbooks, watching film, doing whatever he could. Now he has a pretty good lineage. He does have Uncle Jim, Hall of Famer Jim Kelly is his uncle, and Jim Kelly vouches for him. And by watching the couple of games I've seen him in the preseason, I see why he vouched for him. Chad Kelly, he makes mistakes, but he's essentially a rookie this year, and he's playing better than the guy who's been here for 3 off seasons, for 3 preseasons. He's playing better than Paxton Lynch. So this makes Paxton Lynch expendable. Now there are some people that say, well, Paxton Lynch is your first round pick. You got to give him more of a chance. Not in today's NFL. Today's NFL, if you're not producing right away, you're probably not going to stick around. Back in the day, there used to be a thing called a 5-year plan. Coach would come in and goes, I got a 5-year plan to turn this team around. You don't get that anymore. Sometimes you don't even get a 3-year plan. There are coaches that get brought in 1 year later, they're gone. So Paxton Lynch is not going to get his full contract to get better. The Broncos want to trade him. But right now, the Broncos can't trade him because there's nothing good on film yet. He's got a couple of moments where he's looked good, but he has way too many bad moments where he looks scared and unsure of himself. He even has the episode on the sideline where I think he was, he was very emotional. So they, people in Denver are hoping that he can be traded. People in the Denver organization, Denver fans are just saying, get rid of the guy, cut him, who cares? You can't. I guess if you wanted to, you could probably get Paxton Lynch to the practice squad. I don't know if you can do that with a first-round pick. But I guarantee you Paxton Lynch would clear waivers. Nobody's going to pick him up. It's just the facts. It's like if nobody's going to pick him up for nothing, nobody's going to, trade for him. I just don't think there's enough good stuff on film of Paxton Lynch to trade. I mean, if I'm a GM, I'm looking at what I've seen so far and go, what do you want me to? I'm not taking that guy or his first round pick contract. I don't see a reason to. He's not going to help my team. He doesn't look like he could help any team. He looks like he could go back to college and not really be that effective. Of course, that's an exaggeration. I mean, he was great in college. He was great for Memphis. But he played at a small school in a small conference, and He was a big fish in a small conference, but now he's in the big NFL, and he looks like a dead fish, is what he looks like. He just looks like he's just floating in the tank, belly side up, going, oh, what am I doing here? I'm making millions, though. He's stuffing millions into his gills. The man's set for life as long as he's smart with his money. So, what do you do with Paxton Lynch? Of course, you keep him through the last preseason game. He's not going to play much, if at all, in the third preseason game against Washington. It's going to be Case Keenum for probably 2.5, 3 quarters, and then probably Chad Kelly's going to get the rest of the reps. Then in the fourth preseason game, you'll probably put maybe Case Keenum in there for a series or 2, just to, get some continuity, because he's new to the team and the offense. So maybe get him a little continuity with his teammates. Just stick him in there, maybe a series or 2, but more than likely he won't play at all. Which leaves Chad Kelly to play a lot of the game. But I think Chad Kelly would only play maybe a quarter. And then they're going to put Paxton Lynch out there the rest of the game. Because first off, if Paxton Lynch gets hurt, and I hope nobody gets hurt. I don't want any of these players to get hurt. This is their livelihood. I would like them all to be able to get paid to do this. But that's not reality. So you're going to put Paxton Lynch in there, because if Paxton Lynch does get hurt, it wasn't like you were going to keep him anyway. If Chad Kelly gets hurt, or if Case Keenum gets hurt, that could be a bigger blow to your team. I'm hearing, that because Chad Kelly is starting to get first-team reps, well, that means that Denver's not going to sign a veteran quarterback. Why? Look at the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers had Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers goes down, all they had behind him was Hundley. Hundley's not a veteran quarterback. He hasn't been in the league 10, 15 years. He's a very young quarterback. But they basically said, if we lose Rodgers, it's over for the season, so we'll just put Hundley in there and see what he can do. I think the Broncos should adopt the same principles. Now, I know our defense is built probably a little bit better than Green Bay's, but our offense still has some question marks. But I think that if Case Keenum goes down, I think Chad Kelly, he could be a surprise for a lot of people. I mean, at Denver, we're watching him and we like him. He does make some stupid mistakes. He has a little bit of gunslinger in him early. Maybe he works that out later. But I like him. I like the kid. He's doing really well. Especially for essentially this being his first year. So that means put 3 quarters worth of film on Paxton Lynch. Give him 3 quarters out there to maybe showcase what he can do. And if he has a good performance in that last preseason game, it's an audition for him to go somewhere else. And maybe even somebody sees enough in him to give us a 7th round pick for him, or, I don't know. Right now, I don't see anything. The fact of the matter is, if you're really looking for a quarterback, these are just some of the free agents that are still out there. If you have to, you can still call Jay Cutler. I don't think he's technically retired, so you could still call Jay Cutler. I think he's a better option than Paxton Lynch. Derek Anderson, better option than Paxton Lynch. I'd even argue that Matt Moore, Mark Sanchez are better options than Paxton Lynch. TJ Yates, better option than Paxton Lynch. This also leaves a team like Oakland, who has Carr. They signed EJ Manuel and Josh Johnson. Well, if you cut one of them, you're probably not going to keep all 3 quarterbacks. You'll probably cut one of them. So you're either going to cut Manuel or Josh Johnson. That puts another quarterback on the market. Look at the Jets. The Jets have Bridgewater, they have Sam Darnold, and they have another guy in there that they just signed. They had Josh McCown. So you got Josh McCown, you got Teddy Bridgewater, and you've got Sam Darnold. You're not going to keep all 3 of those guys. They may try to move one of them for a trade before they have to release one of them. You can't keep all 3. In this day and age, you need depth at other positions, and you can't keep all 3. So you could trade for Bridgewater or Josh McCown, which is a better option than Paxton Lynch. Not to mention Cleveland has Baker Mayfield, they have Tyrod Taylor, and they have Stanton. Stanton is a better option than Paxton Lynch, and Stanton will probably get cut, possibly. I don't, like I said, I don't see any team carrying 3 quarterbacks. I know there are some that do, but you need depth at other positions, and usually you can pick up a free agent quarterback somewhere because there's a lot of them floating around out there because not everybody keeps 3 NFL quarterbacks on the roster. This could even lead to a guy like Tom Savage in New Orleans who signed a 1-year deal. Maybe he gets put back out on the market. There's Matt Castle could end up in the same boat. I don't think you'll do it with Josh Webb in Houston, only because I know they've got Brandon Weeden and Josh Webb, but you don't know if Deshaun Watson can make it through a whole season or not. But you could essentially see Josh Webb or Brandon Weeden released back out onto the market, and I'm going to argue that, or Joe Webb, I'm arguing that both of those are better options than Paxton Lynch. So there's no reason to really trade for Paxton Lynch because who wants him? And even if somebody does want them, they'll sit there and go, I know you don't want him, Denver, so I'll wait till you release him, and then I'll sign him. Because you don't want him. I know you don't want him. You've got Chad Kelly as your number 2. You got Case Keenum as your number 1. And unless something dire happens to either one of those 2 guys in this 3rd preseason game, you're getting rid of Paxton Lynch. And I'd argue you might get rid of Paxton Lynch anyway, because if you lose Chad Kelly or if you lose Case Keenum, you're probably going to the Jets and say, what do you get? What can I give you for Bridgewater? What can I give you for McCown? Let me know. It's like, you know what, let's do a deal. Because you're not going to keep Paxton Lynch. Because if Case Keenum gets hurt, you're probably making, I don't know if you make Chad Kelly your starter because he's young, and John has high expectations for this team, John Elway. So you're probably going to try to get a veteran like Teddy Bridgewater or Josh McCown to lead this team and have Chad Kelly as the backup. If Chad Kelly gets hurt, you don't want Paxton Lynch as your backup because you're 1 quarterback away from having Paxton Lynch as your quarterback. And that's not a good thing either. So you probably let Paxton Lynch stay on the team, you put Chad Kelly on injured reserve, and then you sign somebody else and then cut Paxton Lynch. So who wants Paxton Lynch? Right now, no one. 4th preseason game, he's probably going to get the bulk of the reps. I'd say probably plays 3 quarters. If he stays healthy, he's going to play 3 quarters. See if he can't put some good stuff on film for an audition and give this kid a chance somewhere else. I think in Denver he's not going to do it, but maybe you give him 3 quarters of a final preseason game. Somebody else might see something and give him a job again. Don't feel bad for Paxton Lynch, though. He's a millionaire. He's got a lot more money than the rest of us. So, he did good enough in college to get his 1st-round pick. He did good enough to make himself some millions. So, don't feel bad for Paxton Lynch. He's going to be better off than most of us, even if he never plays another down of football. So, let me know what you think in the comments below. To the troops, past, present, and future, thanks for the freedom.